During my project, my production skills developed to a large extent. I learnt in pre-production, production and post-production. In pre-production, when that started in September, we were taught about the rule of thirds and how important the rule of thirds is in order to keep a nice full shot. And I was taught that the best place to focus in Western movies is the top left intersection, and that is because we typically read from left to right. The next rule I learnt was about the 180-degree rule. This was so that the subjects that I was filming didn't look like they were going in opposite directions for when I was filming. I found that this was very important, and I wanted to make sure that I kept to this 180-degree rule. I also learned that when filming a sequence, it would be best to film a long shot first. And this is because if I ran out of time, I would still have the whole long shot of the whole sequence. And this would be good just so that I at least had something in case I ran out of time. In these workshops, I also learned about the cameras and lenses. We mainly worked with a Blackmagic camera with a variable lens. We were taught how to adjust the tripod and then bubble it to make sure the levels were correct. We also worked with larger cameras that had set lenses, and this was also a very nice experience and taught me how to work with different cameras. I was taught about cut on action and shutter speed, as well as white balance, and this was all key to helping set up a shot so it looked good. To edit what we captured for our sequence, we used Adobe Premiere Pro. We had a third workshop and we were shown how to use Adobe Premiere Pro. I have never used Adobe Premiere Pro before, and I found it hard in the beginning, but soon after a while I caught on and I found it quite easy to use. We were taught how to find all different folders of all the different shots we took, and this was in bins. I was taught that back when films were edited manually, that the film roll would go on metal cylinders that looked like bins. The clips straight out of the camera were called rushes, because back in the time when film needed to be developed, it would be rushed off the end of the day and then brought back the next day once it'd been developed. We were also told to constantly keep saving, and I felt that this was very important, as if I hadn't saved and there was a power outage, I could have lost a lot of work I had done. So I found that this was very important, as well as the fact that we were editing on Apple Macs and they are notorious for crashing. So just by clicking Command S on the Mac helped me automatically save my project and keep me at ease the whole time. One thing I did find quite hard with my sequence when editing it was that throughout the day the lighting changed as it was getting a more overcast day, and it ended up snowing in the evening. So early on in the day it was quite bright and it was getting darker and darker, so we had to adjust the balance of all the colours to the same colour, which would have been the darkest colour that we used. I found that fake blood was quite hard to work with, as I have never worked with that before. So before our sequence, I tried to fiddle around with it quite a bit, and I found that it was quite good once I got used to it. We took 2 takes of each shot to make sure that we got exactly what we want, and I found this very useful when coming back to editing later on, as it gave us a fully well-rounded piece that if there was something wrong if something went wrong in the one shot, we still had the backup shot, and I thought this was a very clever idea that we did. We decided to use just a basic guy and girl style opening sequence, and I felt like this worked very well as stereotypes were achieved, and we were previously taught how to match the stereotypes and what conventions to use, like the fake blood and the damsel in distress. And I found that using this helped very much.